I was supposed to be celebrating. My daughter was graduating from university in Bristol, a milestone. A proud photo at the podium, the little ceremony confetti that marks the end of years of hard graft. Instead, by the time I made it home, my car was clamped, fines were issued, and points were automatically added to my license. All because a digital system decided I'd run out of fuel credits, then watch me drive anyway. It started like any ordinary journey. I pulled into a petrol forecourt, presented my national ID card, the one linked directly to my bank account, and let the pump's facial recognition camera confirm it was me. It was smooth, almost clinical, identity verified, payment method known, good to go. Except the pump refused to let me fill up. My weekly fuel credits had been exhausted. The dashboard told me I'd gone over my allocation. Panic set in. The motorway to Bristol wasn't forgiving for someone running low on petrol. I'd been saving for months. I don't have an electric car. I can't afford one, and where I live there's no room to install a charger. And the range on the electric family cars we looked at was frankly useless for what I needed. There was no elegant green alternative. There was only a blunt system that had capped my access to the one thing I needed to get my child to her graduation. That's when the rumors started to feel real. Since the rollout of digital ID, locals had been whispering about underground petrol suppliers, pumps in old yards, tucked behind terraces, run from private drives and outbuildings, expensive, unregulated, often the only option for those who had hit the limits of their official accounts. Desperation makes a market. I paid through gritted teeth, cash, overpriced, embarrassed, and drove to Bristol. The ceremony was everything it should have been. Proud smiles, snapshots, the sort of day parents save up for. But halfway down the M5, a text message pinged on my phone. You have been observed driving on the M5. You are not eligible to be operating this vehicle. If stopped, it will be impounded. It was smooth, almost clinical, identity verified, payment method known, good to go. Except the pump refused to let me fill up. My weekly fuel credits had been exhausted. The dashboard told me I'd gone over my allocation. Panic set in. The motorway to Bristol wasn't forgiving for someone running low on petrol. I'd been saving for months. I don't have an electric car. I can't afford one, and where I live there's no room to install a charger. And the range on the electric family cars we looked at was frankly useless for what I needed. There was no elegant green alternative. There was only a blunt system that had capped my access to the one thing I needed to get my child to her graduation. That's when the rumors started to feel real. Fines and penalty points will be applied. My stomach dropped. It sounded like a threat, a digital handwriting judgment in a few cold characters. I kept driving. I wasn't stopped. I made it home that evening. I should have exhaled. Instead, I started planning how to explain this to my daughter. A day later, the iron jaw of bureaucracy clamped onto my front wheel. The fine notice arrived. Points were added automatically to my license. The car was immobilized until I paid fees and navigated a system that treats appeals as an afterthought. This isn't merely a story about one family's bad luck. It's a portrait of how rapid digitization, excellent in theory, can be brutal in practice, especially when it links identity, payments, and surveillance into a single, unforgiving loop. The very system designed to make transactions faster and safer ends up policing movement, rationing access, and creating an economy of desperation where underground services thrive. Imagine a world where your weekly expenditures are capped by an algorithm, and your movement can be tracked and judged by the same profile that confirms your face at a petrol pump. Imagine being refused the right to purchase essential goods because an administrative threshold has been reached. Now imagine being identified and penalized after you've already driven away via an automated alert that presumes guilt long before any human does. There are human costs here. Stress, humiliation, the derailed joy of a graduation day, and the practical hassle of dealing with clamped property and points that can increase insurance premiums. There is also a larger civic question. Do we want systems that can deny, track and punish citizens in near real time without transparent appeal routes, meaningful oversight, or clear safeguards for fairness? My experience isn't an argument against technology itself. Identity verification and digital payments have enormous benefits, but it is a cautionary tale about how those benefits can be weaponized when the right checks aren't in place. When identity is tethered to purchasing power and then tied again to surveillance, the balance shifts from serving citizens to managing them. If there's a silver lining, it's that stories like this can spark better policy. We need transparent caps, if caps exist at all, clear emergency access routes for essential travel, independent oversight for automated penalties, and safe, affordable alternatives for people who cannot switch to electric vehicles overnight. We need to ensure that a parent trying to reach their child's graduation isn't punished for the convenience of a system that was supposed to make life easier. On the morning of the graduation, I felt proud, exhausted, and relieved. By nightfall, I was angry, then bewildered, then caught up in a fight I hadn't asked for. That day should have been remembered for a mortarboard in mid-air and a smiling degree holder. Instead, it's become a lesson about how quickly dignity can be eroded when personal movement, payment, and identity are managed by faceless systems. If nothing else, let this stand as a warning. Digitize with care, because when a machine can deny you petrol, watch you drive, and fine you afterwards, there's a lot more at stake than convenience. There's freedom.